This is the concierge, sir.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Concierge Confidential. I'm your host, Brian Ortega, and it is our annual, most important episode on this podcast, and that is the Valentine's Day planning guide to Las Vegas. Well, I can't really say that because what I was planning on doing, I was actually going to go and I actually clicked through and I was trying to sort of outline like high-end Valentine's Day and like mid-budget Valentine's Day and then like a low-budget Valentine's Day. And thing is, when I was researching the high-limit Valentine's Day, can't really make reservations in any of those places now because, I don't know, rich people have their shit together and they know when to make reservations, or at least their assistants do. Because a lot of the places that I would recommend are booked on those days. But that's not always the case. Like, they usually are, like, booked, like, once you get to the day of. But being 2 weeks out, which this is sort of like last minute at this point for Vegas high-end restaurants, and also the ones that are like romantic, that are like, you know, that people think of. But sometimes it actually helps if you call directly. And if you do live in Las Vegas and you really need to make that like high-end dining reservation on the Strip, to go to the restaurant, that's definitely one way to do it as well. So yeah, sometimes online it just, like, especially for these like special events, are just booked, like, or it just says booked. But sometimes, you know, if you go up in person, you know, a decent amount of time ahead, that's one way of doing it. And again, nobody wants to really sit at the bar when they're on their Valentine's Day. But if you're coming to Vegas for Valentine's Day and you're not seeing anything available, so sorry. So had to pivot. Had to figure out how can I make this Valentine's Day episode helpful. And usually when you're here for Valentine's Day, you go to dinner and then sometimes a show, but more than likely you're probably going to go to a lounge. And I'm going to list some of my favorite lounges, bars, and just like things to do on Valentine's Day, you know, attractions to do if you're coming for Valentine's Day. So hopefully this helps out a little bit. This is probably one of my favorite things to plan. I love planning like romantic dates. That's always really fun. And I think that it's also funny because Valentine's Day really is like the Super Bowl for concierge in general, because it's when we get the most requests for flowers, you know, hearts on the bed, or anything with rose petals on the bed, or anything that has to do with room setups in general. It is dinner reservations. It is essentially our Super Bowl. So I'm really excited to jump into the episode. It's one of my favorites. So we'll go ahead and dive in. Coming up next. Okay, everybody. So before we dive in, giving you recommendations and stuff, a couple just like thoughts on Valentine's Day, and you know, from the concierge side, it is one of our busiest days of the year. Reason being is that, like I said earlier in the intro, that we get so many requests and a lot of last minute reservation requests. So it is tough. We do get told no a lot for those days. It's also one of the only days of the year where traditionally like a la carte menus or a la carte restaurants actually have a Valentine's Day menu, so they can turn over the restaurants quicker. So that could also be the reason why we don't have lots of reservations, because they actually have like seatings. They have a early seating, they have an early and a late, and sometimes there's like one in between. There's sort of like a middle seating. So don't be surprised if you end up getting, you know, scooted out of your reservation as it sort of comes up on the time. So they also usually have special menus because of this. So sometimes you're not able to do like the a la carte. You have to do the special Valentine's Day menu. And then sometimes they actually have to be like a spending minimum. Like one time, what did I do? It was really stupid. I went to Delilah's on a Valentine's Day because I was like, what am I doing? And then I went and they're like, oh, like, you know, they're ordering off of this menu, so you have to order off of here. And I was like, oh, that's weird. So I don't think I didn't eat. I was just like at the bar. But that is one thing to keep in mind, is that if you are making reservations for some restaurants on the Strip, is that even downtown like Barry's, they will have like a Valentine's Day menu specific. So just keep that in mind if you have reservations already for some place on Las Vegas Boulevard. It doesn't mean you can't make reservations anyplace else, but I clicked around to Caesar's Palace, Venetian, Bellagio, the Wynn. Did not see lots of reservations available for Valentine's Day. It also happens to land on a Saturday, so that means it's a Valentine's Day on a weekend, which is like double trouble. So it's just one of those fun things. So what I typically liked to do on Valentine's Day, I usually liked to go to dinner and then maybe like a fun, sexy show, because you're trying to like kind of, you know, get in the mood, obviously. So honestly, a couple of shows that I would like to recommend for, you know, Valentine's Day. Love Absinthe. It's just a really fun like way to end like a late night if you're doing that. It's also like, you know, it's great for couples. It's especially if you have like a really good sense of humor. It's fantastic. If you want something a little bit more like romantic or something a little bit more, you know, for everybody, I guess, not so raunchy, I suppose. O is always beautiful. It's probably sold out at this point, but that's a really beautiful show. And then also people like Ka, but that's more for like kids, so I wouldn't recommend that maybe on Valentine's Day. And then maybe Le Rêve. Le Rêve, which is at the Wynn Hotel, is a very popular show. Or if you see any concerts coming into town or residencies, that's always a fun thing to do as well. Those are, you know, highly specific, but that could be a really fun thing to do as well. I don't know if the Backstreet Boys are in town for Valentine's Day. I know they're here for the Super Bowl because I will be going to that concert, and I am over the moon excited to go see the Backstreet Boys at the Sphere. So really excited. Hopefully you guys follow us on all of our socials for that. But yeah, so let's get into some of like the romantic spots or romantic things to do. So one of like the romantic things to do, obviously, is going up to the Eiffel Tower. That's a really good thing to do maybe earlier in the day. I would say probably a later in the evening kind of thing to do, even though it might be kind of cold. But if you're going there with a date, you don't want your guys' hair to get messed up. And it does get a little bit windy because you are exposed to the elements. But you do get really, really good photos when you go at sunset time, which is usually earlier in the day, obviously. But that's one really popular thing to do. And you can also walk across the street and see my favorite thing, and that is the Bellagio fountains. To me, the Bellagio fountains are the number one free romantic thing to do in Las Vegas. It never disappoints. You can sit out there for, I don't know, an hour. Sometimes what I would recommend is you grab a drink or a cocktail or something and then go outside. It gets pretty full, I'm not going to lie, but you go outside, watch about, you know, in an hour, you're going to get 4 shows in an hour, essentially. Well, 5 technically, because top of the hour, 1, 15, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can watch 5 shows in 1 hour. So, especially if it's later in the evening. But you can go out there, have a cocktail, watch the fountain show. They're always different, which is very nice. And it's free, and it's beautiful. And the weather's been great. There were actually people out at, like, my pool today, which was funny. It was like a pool party, but like unofficially because the sun came out. But no, I love the Bellagio fountains. Like, people think like, oh, it's tacky. It's like, so like, you know, it's been done. But there's a reason it's awesome, and it's because it's super romantic. And I think they added Perfect from Ed Sheeran on there, which is, I think, and the one with Andre Bocelli as well. So very, very romantic. Like, I think they have like almost 40 songs now at the fountain show. But that's one thing to do. And then obviously the Eiffel Tower, the top of it, the restaurant is booked. So don't try to go into the Eiffel Tower restaurant unless you're trying to sit at the bar in the back. But hey, you could try. Also, another one is to walk over or walk down the Link Promenade, which actually is quite nice. It's beautiful for a nice little stroll. And then down there, they have the Jimmy Kimmel Comedy Club, which I think would be fantastic for Valentine's Day. Comedy clubs might be the way to go on Valentine's Day because it's sort of like a hidden thing that people don't know to do. But I think it's a really fun thing to do, is like to go with your date to like a comedy club and just have a good time and, you know, see the new comedians out there. But Jimmy Kimmel Comedy Club, that's on the Link Promenade. And then you can also try the Brad Garrett's Comedy Club, which is at the MGM Grand in the old, there was a Chinese restaurant where it is now, actually. Or you can drive down to Town Square, which is now where there's the new Wise Guys, which I've been told is very fun. Just a couple options if you want to do comedy in town for Valentine's Day. I don't think Sebastian Maniscalco was actually going to be in Vegas during the Super Bowl, and I think he's back in March. So nothing for Valentine's Day. But another cute idea, if you end up going to... People love rooftops. Rooftops are like the thing to do when you come for like a romantic getaway. And one that is really, really top notch is the Ale Lounge on 66. Absolutely terrible name for the rooftop bar at Resorts World. It's just too long. The Ale Lounge on 66. Like, how do you even say the first part? It's terrible. But other than the name being horrible, the rooftop bar at Resorts World is fantastic. It's a very large, huge space, which is really, really nice when you get up to those top floors when you're trying to like have a view. It is really quite fantastic. So highly recommend that for like pre-night drinks. And the cool thing is you could take the Zook automated taxi there, which is on for free, as long as you download the app, and the cocktails are very, very good. They also have special menu for Valentine's Day, so just keep that in mind. And I believe you can also make reservations for up there on that day, but the Alley Lounge on 66. I would also say Hard Shake will probably be very busy, but Hard Shake is over at the by the old name. It is at the Waldorf Astoria, which if you go onto my socials, whether it be TikTok or Instagram, Concierge Confidential _LV on Instagram and at Keys to Vegas on TikTok, if you want to see what the video is from the Hard Shake Lounge, which is super romantic. That's really what it was made for. Beautiful views of the Strip looking north and south, which is fantastic. And then, of course, you always have Skyfall at the Mandalay Bay, which is the W, which is a beautiful view of the Las Vegas Strip looking north. Those are the options that are sort of like what I would recommend if you want sort of like a view from Vegas from above. Oh, and I almost forgot. One of the most popular ones is the High Roller. The High Roller over at the Link Promenade is one place where you're able to get a view of the Strip. What's nice is that you can't really make reservations super far in advance. They don't have like Valentine's Day things going on. Unless you're in like the bar cars, they might have a special promotion, but that is something that people love to do on Valentine's Day. Just keep it like civil, like don't freak out, like don't like get crazy. Everybody's going to be able to get on, and it's a great place to get views and get pictures and kiss and all those other good things. Another one that I'd like to recommend, if you end up going to the north end of the Strip, places that I love to go. I love the Collins Bar. It's really good for like a late night sexy drink with somebody, because it's the perfect level in terms of like people talking and music. So it's actually very, very nice. And then they also have what else do they have there? They have the Nowhere Lounge, which is something you'd have to make reservations for, especially for couples. But that's definitely a very popular thing to do at Fontainebleau. Are those two options? I know Komodo is running like a special thing there, but that's like their vegan only thing. And it was really funny because I was actually talking to a lady the other day on the Strip, and I was talking to her and her mom, and I was like, they're like, "Oh, we're going to Komodo," and I said, "Oh man, that's awesome." Komodo's really pretty on the inside. It has like a sort of like old school Tao vibe, like Tao at the Venetian, where it's sort of like cool, like getting ready before you go out. There's a DJ. It's a very pretty room, sexy people around. But the menu to me sucks. I was like, oh man, like it's great, but like the food, I was like little tacos and like everything's vegan and gluten free. And she happened to be vegan or vegetarian. And I was like, it's cool. It's good for you, though, but not cool for me. But Komodo, very sexy spot. Man, no restaurants available that day. It really sucks. Like, I checked all of the restaurants on Valentine's Day, and really nothing available at Fontainebleau because they're all booked. But sexy hotel. But those are really great options. The Collins Bar is fantastic. A little bit more quiet. It's probably like a place you're going to end up at or start at. It's a good place to go. And then obviously the Nowhere Lounge, which is on the second floor of Fontainebleau. If you do go over the Wynn going to be quite busy. Everybody loves to go to the Wynn for Valentine's Day just because, one, they have Valentine's Day menus. They have very sexy, very pretty like surroundings, obviously. But if you do go there, check out the Bar B, or the B Bar, which is sort of like a cocktail bar in the in sort of the center of the casino. Try to find a seat. It's not reservations. It's the bar is okay. I actually really like their outside bar, which is by Pisces and SW, which overlooks the waterfall, which is very, very pretty. So would highly recommend that if you end up going to the Wynn. Of course, if you can get into Delilah and sit at one of the booths, which it's not going to happen because it's very busy, that's one way of doing it as well. But yeah, the Wynn's very pretty to walk around, but it's going to be very hard to make a reservation any place there as well. I want to check one more thing because it's one of my favorite restaurants at the, what is this place called? At the Venetian, and it's Smith & Wollensky. And sometimes, like, the chain restaurants, you're able to make reservations for them even on those big days. And they have kind of a large, let's see, Wakuda. Let's try it out, Wakuda. I really like Wakuda. Wakuda is a very, very nice place in general. So let's see. On Valentine's Day, cocktail club, dining room. They only have later times at Wakuda. I really, really enjoy Wakuda. I think it's one of my favorite, like, Asian cuisine spots. The cocktail club lounge is awesome. And I actually met one of the bartenders at a local bar, and it was fun catching up with them. But Wakuda is a great spot. But Smith & Wollensky, that's what we're looking for. So Smith & Wollensky, which is located inside of the shops at the Venetian. Delmonico, man, I've always forgot how many restaurants they have at this place. But in general, the Venetian is actually quite nice just to walk through the mall because it has sort of that outdoor feel to it. Great place for desserts because they actually have really good ice cream sort of shops sprinkled around the property. They have at least 3, I want to say, and that's quite a lot for like one property, even though it's gigantic. But I do really enjoy their ice cream shops, and they used to have like a donut shop too. So we're gonna check out Smith & Wollensky. Smith and Wollensky. Sorry, guys, can't find it. Apologies. Can't do it. They just don't want me to give you guys information on the restaurants, I suppose. Let's do steakhouse, dessert. But that's Venetian. And then Resorts World, kind of went over what I would recommend there. Carver Steak has a Valentine's Day menu. And, of course, their view on the very top of the hotel. The Bellagio, again, is going to be tough to be inside of the hotels, that side of that hotel specifically, because a lot of their restaurants that are on the fountains are booked. But, again, watching it from the outside is nice. Aria, didn't see anything. Cosmopolitan, really fun if you want to go to like any of their speakeasies or do kind of like a speakeasy tour for them. So maybe start at the back over at the ski lodge and make your way over to Ghost Donkey, which is really fun. And then maybe end the evening at Barbershop, depending how crazy you want to get that day. But that's definitely an option if you're trying to do something along those lines. Sorry, guys, I won't be able to find Smith & Wollensky because I'm trying to do the pod and do this at the same time. And you should probably only choose one when you're doing all this. Although Delmonico is fantastic. Love it. So let's see here. So we're making our way down the strip. Caesar's Palace. Caesar's Palace does have Bobby Flay's brasserie. That usually is a pretty good quick turnover. Definitely places like Stanton Social aren't available. Peter Luger's wasn't available when I checked it out. But they do have their caviar speakeasy. Rock and Row is what it's called. And that place is really loud. Like, I don't know how great it is for Valentine's Day, but it will be very loud. Another speakeasy bar that you want to maybe check out is going to be over at the Aria. They usually have something planned for Valentine's Day, which tends to be really, really fun. I'm not a big fan of the donut speakeasy over there, Easy Speakeasy. But if you're going to be, renting out a spot, they do rent it out per like the hour and a half, and I hate it. But if you need something for themes, that's a really good option as well. Bavette's is fantastic. I love their bar top. If you want to end up going in there and having, maybe bar top seating at Bavette's, that's at the Park MGM, always fantastic. And of course, if you want something very, very affordable, they have the Italy area inside of New York as well. Another place I'd really like to recommend, like if you end up going and dining someplace else, but you want to have a really nice rooftop view, is if you go to the Brewdog Brewery, which actually has a rooftop view of the Las Vegas Strip, Center Strip. It's really, really a great place to see Las Vegas from a roof. The stuff inside is fine. Like the food is okay. If you like craft beer, then obviously it's going to be a better spot for you, but not like always my favorite. As we're kind of talking about rooftops, if you're able to get a nice seat, Carmela, which is over at Planet Hollywood, that place does Italian, very New York style Italian, kind of old school, bigger plates. I thought the place was just fine, but they do also have more speakeasies. They actually have a speakeasy bar. When you walk in, there's like a candy shop. Looks like a candy shop, and there's usually a person standing there. If you go there, I think you need a password. It's very easy to get the password. Ask the bartender, ask the waiter, ask whoever, and they will go to the back. And that is a really fun bar to go to. Great music, kind of old school, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, hip hop and pop, and it's really great. And it's very adult. Like you're gonna get a lot more people like in their 30s and 40s hanging out in there. The 20-year-olds, they walk in, look at it, and they're like, oh, free drink, and then they leave. So I don't usually see a lot of like 20-year-olds in there, but it's a really great spot in there as well. So that's the speakeasy inside of Carmela's, and I've kind of made my way through most of the strip. Flamingo, they do have Bugsy and Meyer, which is going to be their steakhouse. It's fine. They also have their like Cuban restaurant, which always looks really cool. And I've never like gone and checked it out like when it's live, but it's kind of interesting. Mayfair Supper Club. That's always one that we always bring up a lot, and I still haven't been back to actually see the new. I haven't been back to see the new show. I have seen it from some people that I know that work in entertainment, and it looks like there's a lot of things going on. Like I don't want to be mean. It's just like too many things all at once. It's like Super Freako, but times 10, which I don't know if I want that vibe while I'm eating. But I don't know, whatever. Maybe that's your thing. Maybe you just want like crazy things like swirling above you. And it just feels like unfocused. That's my biggest thing. I just want more focus. But it does seem like it's not very much like a romantic vibe on the inside. More of a party vibe, which if that's what you're there for, that's what you're there for. So that's still at the Bellagio. Harrah's, nothing says romance like Harrah's, but they do have Ruth Chris, which is still out there, just moving and grooving. And then what else do we have? The Link, a lot of stuff I've mentioned. The Link on the promenade, really, really great. But maybe not inside of Link specifically. And I think I made my way through most of the strip. Treasure Island, nothing at Treasure Island. Don't go there for Valentine's Day. So I think I made my way through most of the strip. I think that should be a good start for most of you. So hopefully you guys can find something fun to do. They do have, I did actually get somebody reached out to me on TikTok for this. It's the Love in the Sky or Love in the Clouds airplane, where you can rent an airplane that has, the back area clear for you and your loved one, and you can do whatever you want in the air for an hour. So, or an hour and a half. I forget how long the actual timing is, but I believe it's called Love in the Clouds is the company that runs that particular ride. So that's one thing that you can do. Places downtown, if you guys want to go downtown to check out what they got going on there. Barry's, always very popular. A place that I will be going to for the first time for during Super Bowl weekend is Oscar's Steakhouse, which is funny because Oscar's Steakhouse, when I was first moved out here and I was working as a tour guide, it used to be called Oscar's Beef, Booze, and Broads. We used to be a proper country, but now we're back to that. I think he got rid of the thing too early, and now we're back to where you can say kind of whatever you want, but I'll leave it there. But I will be going to Oscars. It is where they filmed scenes from Casino, which my dad loves, so we're going to go eat there and see what it's like to dine inside of that wonderful ball that they have there at the plaza. So we're going to be doing that. Not a lot of things that I know on... Oh, I forgot to mention. At Circa... Speaking of rooftops and romantic, you can go up to the Legacy Club. Legacy Club has an outdoor area with a fire pit, but it could be very, very classy. They usually have like a party or something for these big holidays. So let's actually just look. So all you have to type in is Legacy Club at Circa. By the way, as I'm sort of looking through this, if you are listening to this before the Super Bowl, make sure you go check out my YouTube video that I made for places to watch the Super Bowl if you're going to be here, or if you just want to see me, you know, my face. That is going to be on our YouTube page, Concierge Confidential, if you want to, and kind of look around, and it is there if you want to watch my sportsbook video. So let's see, Valentine's Day. They have chocolate-covered strawberries. You can reserve. It's free admission. There's going to be a DJ, drink specials. I don't know. This might be a kind of a cool spot to go. They have chocolate-covered strawberries, the most bought thing from the menu there. We used to do a lot of those. Chocolate-covered strawberries, champagne, hearts on the bed. The key to a heart on a bed, I've given out all my recommendations, so now it's just story time. So the key to doing a really good heart on a bed is if you buy 2 bags of rose petals. So when they give you like an option, like 1 bag of rose petals, 2 bags of rose petals, 2 bags of rose petals will give you a very decent heart, really, really good heart, and then a trail from the door to the bed. So 2 bags is really what's needed. And you want the real ones. Real bag of rose petals is very important. And always ask for red ones. A long time they used to like have this thing where they didn't want to sell you red rose petals, but ask for red rose petals specifically, or else you get the rainbow ones, which are like cool, but they don't look as nice. Nothing looks better than deep, dark red roses on a white bed. Just, it's cool. So you can do that, the heart on the bed. And the key for us was that you had to do the heart without like getting like on the bed, obviously. So I would dump like them in the middle and then work my way into a circle and then work the middle part. So that gets you your base. Then you work out the edges and then down to the middle. And then I would take a picture because then you'd have to figure out if it was symmetrical. I was very big on being symmetrical. I loved really big hearts, but with really big hearts, there's a lot more obvious room of error. When you have smaller hearts, it can be nice and full, and they're like really pretty little hearts. But obviously, if it's a big bed, it kind of you don't get the rest of the space. But I like to decorate it. Like I used to like to do the heart and then sort of like dot it with all these like rose petals with the extras, and then do the trail real nice. Do you need to do the tea lights? If you buy tea lights, you have to buy a lot of them. You have to end up getting like almost 12 tea lights, at least 15 to be honest. If you want to like have a trail that leads you like to the bed and like have the lights off, because it gets super dark. So you have to be very creative with lighting, like especially if you only order like 4, that's not lighting anything, or 6, not lighting that much. So we try to get as creative as we can. But tea lights are fun. And then obviously if you do this, by the way, do it so when you come back, we give us enough time to send up the bottle of champagne, because if you want it at a certain time and like before you like go out, it's probably not going to be there in time. So it's usually really good to say, hey, like, can you deliver it at 5:30 when we're at dinner at 5:30? That's cool. That gives us like 2 to 3 hours to get it up to your room. So I would recommend pick a time that's like close to it, so it's up there when it's available. So I don't know, champagne and strawberries. People love chocolate-covered strawberries. Like if you had to choose between champagne and chocolate-covered strawberries, I would recommend just getting chocolate-covered strawberries. Like get like the bigger order of chocolate-covered strawberries, which is like I think 6. Because like you're gonna eat them and like no, it's not gonna go to waste, and you kind of save money that way, because if you get champagne and chocolate-covered strawberries, it can get expensive. So I recommend chocolate-covered strawberries. Both of you will love it. That's what I would recommend. So that is our Valentine's Day episode. Hopefully you guys made reservations before you heard this, because hey, there's not that many left. So hopefully you guys enjoy. I will probably be going to the movies, which I'll probably be seeing Wuthering Heights, the movie with Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi, or I'll probably be seeing Crime 101, which is also on that weekend. Honestly, I will be watching both because no Valentine's Day for me. So thanks again, everybody. Make sure you check us out on Instagram, ConsciousConfidential_LV, and then on TikTok at Keys to Vegas, and then my personal Brian_Ortega26 for any movie stuff that you like. So make sure you guys go check those out. Hopefully you guys have a good time in Vegas. Good luck at the Super Bowl, and remember, keep it confidential.